Hey everybody, welcome back to Blu-Roy Towers. This week we're back up in the movie room. Last week we did it downstairs. It's Sunday morning. It's nice and sunny. Can only mean one thing. It's time for the weekly watches. 7 watched this week. We're slowing down a bit. Did 2 shifts in my new job last week. Feeling my way in. It's going pretty well. It's hampering my movie watching time a little bit, but that's a good thing, I think. I was watching far too much and getting a bit burnt out before. So without further ado, let's crack on and have a look and see what I watched. First up was last Saturday night. The wife and I delved into the Final Destination box set and watched what I think is my favourite out of the series in number 3. I can really empathise with the fear of this one, roller coasters. I don't like heights, and I don't go on roller coasters much. Well, I don't now, because one good thing about my medical condition is the doctors have given me a free pass so I can chicken out of them. But we'd go to a place in Skegness called Fantasy Island. If you've ever been there, you'll know that there's a massive roller coaster there, and you go on it, and on the first incline it seems to go up and up and up and up and up, and you seem to be on there for hours, where it's only probably a minute or a couple of minutes. But on the way up, I'm always thinking in my head, oh my god, what if this happens? What if it comes off the track? What if a wheel breaks? What if my harness comes undone? And you know it's not good, but it's always that in the back of their mind, which gets the adrenaline flow, which I suppose is the idea of these things. But yeah, I could really identify with this one, and it's really good fun. The actual roller coaster crash is brilliantly done. There's some great kills in it, as within all the series. Particularly, I like the one where the 2 bimbos. People still say bimbos. Is that a thing that's gone out? Not heard that term for ages. Yeah, 2, shall we say, thought challenged girls in it, and their sunbeds, and when they get trapped in them, that's a brilliant kill. Yeah, really good fun. As I say, my best of the series. I followed that up with Perfect Friday. Good heist film. Stanley Baker, he works in a bank. He works out an inside job to steal a load of money, aided by David Warner, who's sort of a spiv flyboy character. He's a lord in it and down on his luck lord and needs some money. And Ursula Andress, the ex-Bond girl, who's playing them both off with the money-wise and arranging to meet them at different places when they've done the heist, and you can work out what's going through her mind with the money. It's no surprise when what happens eventually happens, but 1972 or 71, I think this film was, and she's in a perfect state of undress for the most of this film, so she's been Ursula undressing that. But yeah, really good. If you see when I picked it up, I mentioned that when this film was shot, my dad worked for a removal company, and as they're backing out of the bank when they do the heist, you see him go by in his lorry. And yeah, I saw that and freeze framed it, showed it to my son. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, Perfect Friday. It's not groundbreaking stuff. It's average, but for me, I like it. It means a bit to me. Good film. Yeah, pick it. I think it's quite out of print now, so it's going to cost a little bit to pick it up now. But yeah, it's all right. Next up, and the blurb on this one says a masterpiece, and I'm not going to argue with them. Don't look now. This is a great sort of horror psychological thriller. Very 1970s, very slow burn, but that's the sort of pace I enjoy in a film sometimes. Donald Sutherland, Julie Christie, fantastic acting by master director Nicholas Roeg. They're a young couple, and their little girl drowns in an accident in their pond, and it's a look at grief and how couples struggle with grief, as much as a horror film, really. It's got elements of not noir, elements of giallo. Oh, word got straight out of my head then. which I quite like. It turns into a bit of a slasher as well. It's mostly set in Venice, which the city, incredible in this film. It sort of becomes a character in the film, a sort of a bipolar character, if you like, where at times it's beautiful and such a lovely place in the daytime, but at night it's dark and brooding and evil. Yeah, really good. I like Donald Sutherland. I think his performance this is brilliant. He's really one of my favourite actor of mine, Donald Sutherland. I always like him, whatever I watch him in. Yeah, Don't Look Now. I'm sure most of you've seen it. I think there's a 4K now, so one day I might upgrade that. Really good. But that Blu-ray, vast improvement over my DVD I had, which is more or less unwatchable. So yeah, my first time watching it in HD, and really good time as always. Next up, I mentioned in Don't Look Now that the city becomes a sort of character, and in the next film, The Sniper, which I think the early 1950s, yeah, 52. It's set in San Francisco, and pretty much the same thing, really. Have a character, the city become a character, all the hills and that, you know, San Francisco. Just iconic place, a place I'd like to go one day, you never know. Yeah, The Sniper, this is a noir film about this guy. I think he's had mummy issues when he was a kid. Problems, mummy maybe not loved him as much as she could have done and hit him and stuff. And now he's suffering mentally with that and going around killing mostly brunette young women by shooting them with a rifle. And it's a lot taken, which is rare in these sort of films, through the actual serial killer's eyes. Mostly they usually settle on from the detective side of the story, so that was a refreshing change, I felt. Not heard of most of the cast, to be honest. Adolphe Menjo, I think he was one of the detectives. I think it was Arthur Franz who was the killer. Gerald Moore, yeah, really new names to me. If any of you guys know any more films I should be watching with them in, let me know down below. Always interested in broadening my horizons, as they say. Yeah, really good stuff. Really enjoyed that one. Well worth it in the indicator sale. Worth £5 of anybody's money, that. Yeah, great stuff. Next up, The Wind That Shakes the Barley. Only got a DVD. There's no Blu-ray, I don't think, of this, which is a shame, really, because it's a cracking film. Starring Cillian Murphy, Liam Cunningham, you probably know from Game of Thrones. This is set in 1920s, early 20s Ireland, just after the First World War. And it's all about the struggle for revolution in Ireland from the British governance of Ireland. Yeah, really good stuff. Really, how the British troops were treating the Irish at the time was quite abhorrent, if this is anything to believe. The actors that were playing the British troops weren't in fact actors, they were actual soldiers. They were told not to overplay what they were doing, deal with the Irish like they would if they were dealing with insurgents. I don't know, I suppose where they were based at the time, in the Middle East or somewhere like that when this was filmed. And it's a really interesting look. I'd say maybe not the most balanced film in the world. I think it's very much leans towards the Republican side of the Troubles, and there's always two sides to every story, as you know, so keep an open mind. And I thought it was interesting how when the British pulled out and gave them Irish governance, but under the British rules, how that caused more problems, and that was turning like brothers against each other as they both fell on different sides of the ideas of it. Yeah, really interesting, thought-provoking, directed by Ken Loach, who's one of my favourite films is Kes. Great director he is. If you've not seen it, give it a watch, and let's have a Blu-ray somewhere someday. This well worth a 4K or a Blu-ray it would be. Next up, I watched Taxi Hunter, a Hong Kong film, I think 90s. This is all about this guy, his wife gets killed by a taxi driver. She's pregnant, she's trying to get him, take her to hospital, and he's not having it. And she gets trapped in his car door, dragged down the road. And cross between Falling Down and Death Wish, I've heard it's talked of. And yeah, I can see that. I can see very similarities in them two films. It's worth a watch. It's decent. Some good action in it. I don't know whether I'm going to keep it in my collection. Not sure it's one I'll watch again. Maybe one I'm going to trade. But I'll have to have a think about that. Yeah, it's okay. And last night, my wife and I, we watched The Others. We both like this film. This is great stuff. Really good supernatural film. And even now, though, I watched it so many times, I know the twist and all that, which is a brilliant twist, right up there with The Sixth Sense for me. But it doesn't detract from it on rewatches. I think you can look at, see if there's any signs of what's to come. Nicole Kidman's really good in this. There's an appearance from great British actor Eric Sykes, who was part of my childhood, growing up watching him in the Sykes with him and Hattie Jakes. Really good stuff. I think most people have seen it. Just excellent supernatural film. I believe there's a 4K of it now. It took me ages to get this Blu-ray at a decent price because it was well out of print. Now the 4K's come out and the price has come tumbling down, which is typical, but there you go. Yep, so that's everything I've watched this week. A good week of watching. Some good stuff. No stinkers for a change. So yeah, really good. Thanks for coming along and enjoying those with me. If you've liked what I've done today, give me a like. It all helps out, as everybody keeps telling me. Maybe think of subscribing if you want to see this ugly mug again. Have a nice day and keep you watching your films. Goodbye.